Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we are joined by Brackenridge and Dreda. Thank you both for meeting with me this morning.
You're welcome. Thanks for having
Hi,
us.
Simon.
Hi. So why don't we jump right in and both introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your individual artistic histories or practices.
My name is Dreda and I'm a dance theater artist here in Peterborough. And I trained in classical ballet at National Ballet School in Toronto and then had a 14-year-long career in Europe, first with Dutch National Ballet in Amsterdam. And then I moved to Northern Ballet, which is a touring company based in the north of England of about 40 dancers. And I danced there for 11 years and worked my way up through the ranks and became a principal dancer. Got to perform some pretty fantastic roles and some really interesting work. So I became quite fascinated with how dancers can tell stories with their bodies and also how actors train their physicality. So when I stepped down from full-time company life, which as you can imagine was pretty intense with 180 shows a year, I came back to Peterborough because my folks were here, moved here with my husband, and started to study physical theater and commedia and mask work. And I work with dancers in expressive movement and acting. And I've also done some workshops with actors as well in expressive movement. And I've been choreographing some of my own work, but had a little bit of a hiatus, partly due to the pandemic and having a little baby. I've got a 10-month-old boy. So yeah, it's very exciting to get back into get back into creating work and work with Brad and be part of the Erring project. It's really cool.
Certainly not on the scale of Dreda there. No, I'm a what am I? An actor, performer, designer. I guess theater creator. I sort of started a number of years ago in Peterborough here. Did a lot of work with Fourth Line, and I moved to Toronto for a number of years and was involved in a number of different shows there, working with different companies, and eventually worked my way back here. Just kind of, that wasn't my scene so much, and I kind of wanted to concentrate on sort of doing my own thing. And I got involved in puppetry for the last probably 12 years, and that's sort of been my focus. I still act, etc., in other productions when they arise. But yeah, I've got my own company called The Nervous System, which is primarily me. And then I like to collaborate with whoever and whomever I can. So I always bring in other people to do things. The puppetry has been my focus for the last number of years. So very excited to work with Dreda on this. See what kind of mashup we can do for our Erring project.
Amazing. Tell us a bit about what you two have been working on for Erring at King George.
Well, I loved Edward Lear since I was a small child. I had his book of nonsense, and my father used to read me these ridiculous limericks, and I always thought it would be quite beautiful brought to life through dance or movement or puppetry. And so it just sort of popped into my head one day, and I said, hey Brad, maybe we could do something with this poem. But as we started to delve a little deeper into Edward Lear and his life and his background, we became really fascinated with him because although he's known for his sort of comedic nonsense and sort of made up alphabets and languages and like a really kind of quirky fellow, he was very troubled. He had a lot of physical afflictions. He suffered from epilepsy and asthma, which caused him quite a lot of shame back in those days. And he was also homosexual. He also couldn't find love. He lived alone, and he proposed to many different people, and they always turned him down. And he traveled and tried to get away from himself and never could, and ended up living alone with his cat and dying somewhere in San Remo down on the Mediterranean. And so we just became really interested in who this person is and started to draw some parallels between real episodes of his life and moments in his poetry, some of the darker sentiments in his work, and thought, there's something kind of exciting in here. and it's sort of evolved. We've whittled away at all of these millions of ideas. We had the wonderful opportunity to work with Martha Ross 2 summers ago, right?
Yes.
As part of funding through Public Energy to start to workshop this very piece. And she was so enthusiastic and so excited by our ideas. And we had like pages and pages of ideas and millions of different directions this thing could go. And we've slowly started to, find our way.
Yeah. I think just sort of the idea of him creating all this nonsense and kind of fantastical creatures and worlds sort of lends itself to obviously dance and puppetry sort of extremes, but we're just interested in how would one express these kind of crazy concepts and ideas. And certainly it's a challenge, and also to bring a little of this, it is kind of, I don't know how well known he is, but we're looking to expose him maybe to a little bit of a wider audience, Yeah.
You will be able to tell us both about how you are using your respective mediums in this piece, or how that's kind of helped develop the work further?
Yeah, I think, we have, probably too many ideas. So paring it down, like any original show that you start creating. And it's our first time bringing our, 2 disciplines, or we have more, but centering on the 2. So we're trying to find the right balance of what that is. And, it might be stronger in one piece because we're doing 4 individual sort of chapters for the Erring. So one piece might be a stronger puppet element. The other might just be a straight up movement piece. So we're just trying to find the blend, and we will be learning from each other throughout it as well. A learning experience, not just creating the show, but learning some movement. Dreda will be learning some puppet technique, incorporating the 2, finding a kind of a language to illustrate this project.
Yeah, at the moment we have like Brad mentioned, quite a kind of a bigger sort of dance theater sort of scene, which is sort of taking on some influence from the old Victorian British music hall traveling performances. And I've been studying tap dancing, which is totally new to me, and I'm working on it. It's really hard, but Brad's busy making some different incredible things. I got the pleasure of seeing one element he's been working on yesterday. And once these things are made and really start to play with how a puppet, for example, could be brought to life, and we've got a lot of different things to investigate once we get a little bit closer to that stage in the process.
Is there anything that has been surprising that's come up during this process? Any new inspirations or things you've discovered that you didn't expect to find out?
Well, it's odd. I mean, especially over the last number of years, I've kind of one thing the pandemic has done for us is, we started this a number of years ago because that's when it was announced, and then it was going to be, I think, whenever it was going to be, and now of course it's coming up in May, but it's really given us a lot of time to kind of percolate and sort of digest different things. So, a year ago, I think we had some different ideas on what we wanted to do, and now it's just been almost a subconscious filtering out of things, or letting things kind of float in. So I guess that's allowed some strong impulses just to happen, and we both have kind of picked up at the same time. I mean, I know I'm not being specific, but that's because I don't want to give anything away either.
I think it's sort of, in that sense, it surprised us how time affects a process, right? Like, we've always had probably tighter deadlines than this. We were thinking about it. Oh, it was going to be this day. Oh, it got pushed back. Oh, because of COVID, let's push it back again. And so for years, this has been kind of, like you say, sort of stewing in our minds and evolving. And then we had the pleasure to work with Martha, which was 1.5 years ago. And some of that is still influencing the decisions we're making today. And I can remember I woke up from a dream last summer while I was camping And I had this vision of this idea of this show or of this element of the show. And so we've never experienced this sort of longevity in terms of allowing creative things to bubble up. And in a way, it's a total gift because, you know, you can keep coming back to things and scrapping something and coming up with a new idea. But on the other hand, it can also make you waft, oh, we've still got so much time, so let's not get married to any ideas yet, and let's see what else might pop up. And they have so long to sit with an idea, you start to question it again. Oh, maybe it's not quite right. And so we were talking about this yesterday, how it's both a bit of a gift and a challenge as well.
Just to wrap us all up, I wanted to ask what the most satisfying aspect of this process has been for each of you.
Well, it's certainly a challenge. Really, it's just, for me, it's exciting just knowing that I'll be exploring a lot of movement with Dreda, and you know, and that we work together so well, even in the time that we've known each other. It seems like we've known each other a lot longer, worked together a lot longer than we actually have. So that's quite rare, I think.
I've just loved puppetry for so long, and loved so many different elements of theater that were kind of beyond the limitations of classical ballet. It's extremely exciting for me to be working with Brad, because this is what I've been wanting to do. This is the sort of this is exactly the kind of thing I wanted to do when I stepped down from the classical dancing company life. And it's extremely satisfying when we kind of waft and, oh, I can't quite see it. It's sort of quite sure. It's in soft focus. I'm not quite sure what that scene will be and what we're trying to say. And then we come up with an idea and we're like, that's it. And we both know it almost before we say it. And it's extremely exciting to have this freedom to be, expressing exactly what we want to express and saying what we want to say, and taking this time, like we've said, this time to, you know, mull over all different options and choose what we think will have the most impact and create the experience that we want for the audience is so exciting.
That's amazing. What a great partnership.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch it all come to life.
Just a little more work to do before it's ready, but
Yes.
Well, thank you both again for meeting with me. This has been so wonderful to speak with both of you.
Thanks, Simon.
Thank you
Thank
so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you soon.
See you in May.